Candidate also for the 31st Senate is Miosotis Munoz.
Familia. I say familia because I too have been motivated, and I have also walked with Obama in making sure that history was made. I have been inspired by his message of building coalition, creating transparency, and making sure that everyone who has an opportunity also takes part in the electoral process, not because of their color of the skin, not because of their sex, their race, but because of what they stand for in terms of their work and what it means to stand on one's merit. So again, I commend you for doing what you've done to also create changes in such a profound way. I also want to thank everyone that's here today that also joined me for the Hamilton Heights, where I've also received the endorsement for the 31st District Senatorial race. As many of you know, it was a very, very tough night, but we were there and history was also made through my endorsement. Now, before I begin to share with you how it is that I feel that I can contribute greatly, first of all, I don't stand here because I have a list of endorsements. Neither did Barack. When he first ran, he didn't even have the Congressional Black Caucus behind him. Now, I also don't stand here with a pocket full of corporate dollars because that's not what I'm looking to represent. I am here as a working mother, as a wife, who I want to thank my husband for accompanying me and cheering me on and being one of my greatest supporters. And most of all, thank you. And most of all, to share with you what drives me to public service. I have dedicated over 19 years of my life to public service. Why? Because I am a product of what it means to care and the obligation that I have to give back. I am a product of foster care. And how did I go to college? Well, very simple. It was an aging out process, and if I didn't apply to Fordham University, I was going to wind up back in the streets where I was at the age of 15. So going to Fordham University gave me the opportunity to also say, well, I want to give back because there was so many people who cheered me on, who believed in me, just as I believe in those people that I've had an opportunity to help throughout the years. So what does that mean for me? It means that I have this calling in my spirit to not only do what is right, but go against what seems to be the impossible. I was in Alianza Dominicana, and I want to thank Sandino Sanchez, who's here, who was my supervisor, because when I went to interview with Alianza, I had an opportunity to say, well, how do I give back to the youth? At that time, and still today, over half of our young women, Latina women, are coming out pregnant. I wanted to give back. When the agency said there was no money for a teen parenting program, I said I will write my own proposal. I raised in less than 6 months $150,000, and to this day, over half those women have college degrees, master's degrees, and have surpassed me. I will like to close by saying and sharing with you another proud moment for me. As a parent in this district, I faced education equality, where my son was misdiagnosed in terms of his special needs. And so many of our children are misdiagnosed, and we cannot stand to have budget cuts that are going to continue to railroad our children and not give them the education equality that they deserve to be able to hold these jobs, but also give back the same way I have. I have to also share another great victory that I had, and it was with the public hospitals. Giuliani at the time had proposed to privatize Coney Island. Many said he was going to do it. I said, well, not if I can help it. As coordinator for the Commission on the Public Health System, I not only saved jobs through the unions, but I also stopped the privatization as coordinator with my great mentor, Judy Wessler and Marshall England. And what does it mean for me to stand here before you as a candidate? To bring about a coalition of change, to know what it is to create jobs, to understand the importance of working with leaders, not just my colleagues in the state office, but those that I've had the opportunity to work with and serve in my 19 years at the city, with the federal and the state. So again, I thank you for this opportunity. I hope that you will join me and also understanding that this is a calling that I hope to not only embrace because it is an exercise in democracy, and I have to say, you see the good, the bad, and the ugly. But most importantly, it's up to us to keep this a most wonderful process that allows everybody to take part, especially us in this community. Thank you so much.
Soda tax. So just as a comparison, what would be your position on a soda tax?
On the soda tax, well, to begin with, I've been advocating for small businesses, and I really don't agree with the soda tax to the degree that we have to tax water. Sometimes when you go into legislation, you go pretty extreme. And one of the things that I also see is that our small businesses are hurting. Over 31% of our small businesses are facing situations where they're not able to keep up with their rent. So when we start looking at these taxes, we just can't say, okay, let's just tax randomly. But most importantly, we need to look closely what this means in terms of also the impact that it's going to have, because taxing the soda tax, the bottle tax bill is actually going way beyond. And we need to study that a little bit more closely and what that's going to mean to the businesses that I have seen closing down more and more each day. A lot of the managed care, they spend so much money on lobbying, but they don't spend enough money on prevention and retention. So again, we have to start looking at this more broadly. And one of the things that I feel that makes me unique is having been a constituency service provider, fighting for small business, fighting for immigrant rights, but most importantly, listening to the people and understanding that, yes, we have to look at this more closely and understand the impact that it's also having on our small businesses as well. Again, Wall Street needs to be taxed.